Hello and welcome to Everyday Tarot, your daily dive into the divine wisdom of the tarot. I'm your host, Camille A. Saunders, healer, tarot enthusiast, and professional witch, and today I'm talking about tarot and Garnet. Whether you're a seasoned tarot reader or just starting to explore, this podcast offers daily insights, intuitive messages, and practical advice drawn from the cards. Each episode is designed to help you connect with your inner wisdom, find clarity in your decisions, and tap into the energy of the universe. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday, for fresh perspectives and empowering guidance from the tarot as interpreted by me. If you love the show, the best way to support it for free is by listening daily, leaving a review, and subscribing or following in your favorite podcast app. If you want to support me or the podcast further, you can check out my tarot card crafting workshop. You'll get the hour-long recording with my step-by-step method, examples of the cards I've created, journaling questions, and a PDF to walk you all through it. If you want to support me on the Patreon and get an individual card pulled for you once a month live on the podcast during my New Moon Collective Tarot readings, join the Everyday Tarot Patreon family at the Lovers level. If you'd like to support the podcast even further, you can get a one-time individual 5-card reading in addition to all the other benefits if you join the Witch level on the Patreon. I just this week recorded the New Moon in Libra Collective Tarot reading on September 23rd. If you want to check that out, the replay will be in the show notes. If you're local, you can check out my Let's Talk Tarot meetup group where we chat with other tarot enthusiasts, bring our favorite decks, and play with tarot and oracle decks all together. And coming up this weekend, I will be celebrating the full moon during my full moon women's circles. I'll be joining my colleague Izzy and I under the glow of the full moon for an evening of connection, reflection, and ritual. We meet at Thresholds Collective in Tacoma the first Sunday of every month to welcome in the full moon together. So this weekend, October 5th, we'll be having our next full moon circle, and the upcoming ones are November 2nd and December 7th. If you're interested in my free PDF with the 2025 5-card tarot spread I created just for you at the beginning of this year, you can get that by joining my newsletter list. My weekly newsletter always has the most up-to-date information on upcoming events, presentations, musings, and more. And if you don't already know, I'm a sex and relationships therapist and coach, seeing clients virtually all over from my home office. I love working with queer, poly, and witchy clients, so if you'd like to work with someone that doesn't judge you, is witchy just like you, and helps you learn how to deal with anxiety, chronic pain or illness, communication issues, self-advocacy, and sex, head to my website and book a free consultation now to start your journey. You can find the links for any of these offers in the show notes or on my website, CamilleASaunders.com/everydaytarot, in addition to the images of the cards I pull on each episode. All right, so welcome to season 15, where I'm talking all about tarot and crystals. If you haven't listened to my other seasons yet, you can check those out. And today I'm talking about red garnet, or just also known as garnet. I'll be talking about the myth, the magic, the meaning, some tarot card affiliations, and then I will pull a card at the end to dive in and see what the cards have to say, what message garnet has for us. So I am reading from Stones of the Goddess, 104 Crystals for the Divine Feminine by Nicholas Pearson. So garnet magically is associated with strength, courage, fertility, abundance, creativity, stability, grounding, protection, fire, love, fidelity, regeneration, and healing. The elemental signatures are fire and earth. The astrological signatures are Mars, Pluto, and the Sun. And then the zodiac for it are Aries, Capricorn, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Leo. We have the goddess archetypes of the underworld goddess, the maiden, the mother, the fierce goddess, and the goddess of love. And the formation process is igneous or metamorphic. So garnets are a family of closely related minerals. They have variable compositions but similar structures. There are different kinds found worldwide in all colors of the rainbow. The general properties in this entry for garnet apply to red garnet, which I will be speaking about, which includes the species almandine, rhodolite, pyropope, and though the latter crystallizes into several other colors as well. Though there is disagreement about the etymology of the word garnet, one popular and persistent idea is that it is related to the words for granum and granatum, Latin for grain, and pomegranate, respectively. Old texts often refer to garnet as carbuncle, from the Latin carbunculus, like little coal, a reference to garnet's fiery countenance. Old records of Garnet's talismanic uses and tend to center on themes of healing, strength, victory, and protection. Garnet has a rich tradition of being used for warding off danger, preventing drowning, and promoting passion and sexual vigor. Most of the virtues can be ascribed to this gem's Martian influence. It was even worn or carried into battle, sometimes set into swords and shields to ensure triumph over a person's foes. These practices at first glance appear to point to the divine masculine, however, digging deeper into the myths of garnet reveal the stone's connection to the goddess. The crimson hues of garnet were used for healing disorders related to the blood. It was thought to help detoxify the body, staunch bleeding, improve circulation, and increase energy. Let's see. The garnet blood magic was left over from ancient ideas of the life-giving powers of uterine blood. Garnet was named from granatum, the pomegranate, a red jeweled womb symbol over the matriarchal age. Because of the ancient connections with feminine life force, it was sometimes thought that garnets should be worn only by women. And this was from a quote from mineralogist and feminist Barbara Walker. So much of garnet's power can be contextualized within the framework of the divine feminine. Even the grisly, warlike uses of garnet can be linked to Athena or Minerva, as well as Ares and Mars. There are also ancient talismans fashioned from garnet on which the image of Athena holding a heron and her helmet were engraved. This talismanic gem was employed for obtaining triumph over all foes and rivals. So powerful was this gem that it transformed foe into friend. Garnets are also connected to the archetype of the Earth Mother. Their high specific gravity makes them dense, heavy gems. Coupled with their cubic crystal structure, this endows them with the gift of near instant grounding. They remind us of the vital connection to the planet and help us maintain an even keel throughout life. Garnets are traditionally used for attracting prosperity, uncovering riches, and for manifestation, all of which are under the purview of the Earth Mother. There's a lot of information on garnet, so I'm actually not going to be reading all of it. Let's see. Garnet as carbuncle has long been connected to the element of fire and the concept of illumination. There was a carbuncle set in Aladdin's legendary lamp that cast light in the shadows, and garnets provided light in the underground world of the dwarves. They were found at the tops of towers like lighthouses, and the Talmud even testifies that a carbuncle was the sole source of light on Noah's Ark. Glowing garnets were sometimes said to be found in the skulls of dragons, serpents, and wyverns, though no doubt are representations of the colonic aspects of the Earth Mother. Garnet's ability to change night into day was unlikely to be literal. Rather, the fiery Mars energy of this gemstone provides courage enough to explore the unseen realms and face the fears hidden in the depths of the psyche. Ancient writers believed that it was also protected against demons, night phantoms, and poison gas. It even repelled insects, according to popular lore of the time. The protective quality intrinsic to garnet strengthens the aura, provides stability, and boosts your self-confidence. The author says, "For me, garnet symbolizes the pomegranate eaten by Persephone that bound her to the underworld kingdom of Hades. In the mythic cycle of Persephone, she is secreted away from her mother, the harvest goddess Demeter, by Hades, often called Pluto in the myths. After her daughter's disappearance, Demeter searches far and wide for her. Her grief causes the once fertile crops to wither and die. Zeus, seeing her discontent, implores Hades to return Persephone to the overworld and to her mother. However, Hades intends to keep his newfound bride, for he has already tricked Persephone into eating the seeds of the pomegranate. Partaking of food or drink from the underworld binds a person to it for eternity. Out of the situation was born a compromise, wherein Persephone would spend part of the year with her mother, Demeter, and part of the year with Hades. The descent and ascent of the maiden and her mother's ensuing responses were an ancient explanation for the turning of seasonal tides. Garnet has symbolically been related to pomegranate for a long time. The two words garnet and pomegranate share a linguistic root, and both stone and fruit are symbols of life, blood, and fertility. Also, the dodecahedral garnet crystals can even resemble pomegranate arils. Both are angular, translucent, and a deep red color. The underworldly meal offered by Hades came from his telluric kingdom. Garnets, too, are born within the earth. Occasionally, reddish and violet garnets are assigned to the planetary influence of Pluto, underscoring the stone's underworld connection. Garnets represent the need to nourish and replenish our vital energy. They feed our body, mind, and soul with their regenerative virtues. They provide us with additional reserves of energy and stamina, and they also inspire passion and creativity. Oh, one final connection between Garnet and the divine feminine is its relationship to the tarot. Let's see. Crystal expert Ember Grant provides a list of correspondences between the Major Arcana and the Mineral Kingdom in her book, The Second Book of Crystal Spells. She lists garnets as the primary stones representing the Empress, a card associated with the archetype of the Great Mother. She writes that this card, therefore garnet, the gemstone associated with it, symbolizes the primitive life force, nourishment, and sensory experience. Garnet in magical work is known for its powers of manifestation, healing, and attracting prosperity. Use it to bolster courage and skew the outcome of any situation in your favor. They are also used to inspire love, fidelity, and passion. Try combining them with rose quartz and rutilated quartz for love spells. So yeah, other tarot cards I can think of are perhaps the Chariot for the sort of like fiery energy. And then I would think of like the Queen of Wands using the, again, kind of the fire energy. And then we have the Queen, so kind of like the Great Mother aspect there with wands. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can imagine. I mean, it could be also associated with a Death card because of the pomegranate and Persephone, and sort of the underworldliness. We may perhaps also the moon because of the sort of subconscious, unconscious underworld flowings that are associated with the moon card. All right, so now that we've gone into all of that, let's pull a card today and see what Garnet has to share with us. So I'm going to be pulling from the Norse Goddess Rune Oracle. It is a beautiful red deck, actually, which feels appropriate for Garnet. Let me take my cards from last time and shuffle them in. During the New Moon Collective Tarot reading for Libra season that I just did this week, I also used this deck. So, okay, I pulled a card already. We have Urus, which is associated with Adumbla, strength, health, and transition. And it depicts what I would say like a dairy cow, perhaps on top of a mountain or stream. And this is card number 3 in this deck. I am Adumbla, primordial beast. I am the beginning. My milk is the feast. From Ymir the Jotun, I nourish creation. May Urus bring strength for your transformation. So this represents the primordial cow who emerges from the cataclysmic meeting of fire and ice. They appear to nourish the first giant and the cow of creation who licks a rime-covered block, revealing the first of the Aesir. So this is associated with the personification of strength, born from the meeting of Niflheimr and Muspelheimr in Gingunskap. She is the embodiment of good health and symbolizes the transition from the gaping void into the creation of life. She is both order and chaos, responsible for the lives of both giants and gods. She is healthy, full of vitality, with interminable fortitude. And for the divination meaning, Urus is the rune of strength, meaning aurochs. It represents the large ox-like beast that roams the lands before extinction. The aurochs were a symbol of brute strength, they also a symbol of transition. The Commentary de Bello Gallico documents that Germanic boys in ancient times would hunt documents that Germanic boys in ancient times would hunt the aurochs as a sign of strength, health, and vitality. A successful hunt represented transition from boyhood to manhood. So Uruz is the health and vitality of your youth, the strength and determination to face challenges head on and overcome them. It reminds you to call upon your inner strength and to acknowledge that you are stronger than you think. It represents your health and your body that needs to be properly nourished in order to live. So check in with your well-being and identify any areas where you feel empowered, as this is your well of strength. It also symbolizes transformation, leaving behind your old self in order to grow and emerge in the next phase of life. Just as creation began with a cataclysmic meeting of fire and ice, so too are you in a powerful state of transition, burning away what is old and freezing all that is unhelpful so that you emerge re-energized and empowered. You are strong, your well-being is a priority, and you have the fortitude to overcome any challenges that may arise. So just like with the card or the Garnet here, right? This card is all about strength and fertility, our health and wellness, taking care of ourselves, and all of that. Well, thank you, Garnet, for that message. And if you'd like to join me on the journey of using the tarot for transformation, the link is in the show notes to get more details on that. I'll be working together for 12 weeks of calls and journaling to discover what happens when we want to transform our lives through the tarot. Links for the tarot decks I talk about will always be in the show notes and on my website if you'd like to look at them or purchase them. And thanks for joining me today on Everyday Tarot. Just as a reminder, the podcast comes out daily, Monday through Friday for all of 2025. You can email me, me@CamilleASaunders.com with your thoughts, questions, and more. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.